everybody, it's Mrs. Hedesheimer. Today we're going to learn about an artist named Andy Warhol. If I type Andy Warhol into an image search, there are a bunch of pictures of Andy Warhol. He is very well known for being kind of unique. He had kind of a unique hairstyle and he made his art unique as well. So if I click on Andy Warhol art, you will see some of his artworks. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that there are a lot of bright colors and a lot of things that you've probably seen before, like Mickey Mouse, Barbie, Michael Jackson, maybe famous people from history. And that is what makes him a pop artist. A pop artist, just like pop music, pop is like short for popular. He would draw and make art from things that are popular in pop culture. So like things like if you made art with Among Us characters, you would be a pop artist because you're using things that are popular at the moment to make your art. So even though he lived a while ago, some of these things that were popular then are still kind of popular now. And we're also going to do a little bit of this color switching today. So you might have a couple blocks of color with a similar drawing in them. And we're going to be inspired by Andy Warhol in this style that he usually does. So he'll take one figure or one thing. Like, for example, you might have seen this if I type in Andy Warhol art soup cans. I have some soup cans in my art room, actually, that you might have seen before. So he'll take something kind of normal, like soup cans, and he'll make blocks of them and change the colors and maybe change the perspective. Like this one's kind of straight on, and this one looks like it's coming from the top a little bit. He'll change the perspective to make it interesting and try something new and make it stand out. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to use a snowman since it's winter time, it's getting close to Christmas, it snowed today, the day that I'm making this video. So we're going to do this similar thing. We're going to be inspired by Andy Warhol and his pop art in our snowman. So I'm going to switch over to my camera on my desk. Here is my paper. Today you're going to need a paper. It can be square, it can be rectangle, it's up to you. You're also going to need something to color with, so maybe markers, colored pencils, crayons. I have markers and colored pencils, that's what I've been using. And you're going to want a pencil. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break our paper into sections. So we have our blocks that we will do our little drawings in of our snowman. So to do that, I'm going to take the bottom of my paper and fold it up. If your paper is attached to your notebook, you might want to rip it out and take it out so that you can fold it. And my paper is thick, so it's not crispy. So I'm going to want to make it nice and crispy by rubbing something on there. So I folded it up in half. Now I'm going to fold it the other way. So I'm going to open mine up and fold it the other way. We have been practicing folding a lot this year, so hopefully this comes pretty easy to you at this point. If not, though, just pause the video and rewind if you need to. Whatever you need to do is fine. So what you should have when you open up your paper is 4 sections. And I might even take my pencil and really lightly show you those lines that my folds created. So there's a line going straight down the middle when I folded it long ways, and a line going across the center when I folded it like hamburger style. Okay, so we are going to be inspired by snowmen today. So a snowman usually has 3 sections. I'll do this in the back. It usually has a head circle, a middle circle, and a bottom circle. So we can draw this 4 different ways to make it interesting in 4 different ways. We can draw it so that you're looking straight at it, like a normal snowman. So let's do that in one of these squares. I'm going to draw kind of big in my square so it takes up a lot of room. And I'm drawing with a pencil, so if I don't like what I made, I can erase it. So that's one way you could draw your snowman. Another way you could draw your snowman is from the side, like a profile view. If you ever take a picture of the side of your face, that is called a profile. So if I were to make a profile, I might start at the top. This would be like a snapshot, like a selfie of our snowman. And it's going all the way to the edge to make it a little bit more interesting. And then all the way down to the bottom because we can't quite fit it. And just so you can kind of picture the side of our snowman, let's go ahead and make a little carrot nose. I'm going to make a little curved line. And a point, my little carrot, so you can kind of picture the side view put your little wrap over. So it's the side view of your snowman. All right, now we have the bottom. I'm gonna move my camera so you can see the bottom a little bit better. So on the bottom, you can choose how you want to do it. You could do a close-up view, or you could do a view from the top. Let's try a view from the top. So if we're looking at it at the top, like if it's flying over top, you can see the top of its head. You can see part of its body sticking out a little bit, or maybe even more of its body sticking out at the bottom, like this. And maybe its parrot nose is sticking out that way. So here we have a side profile view of our snowman. We have a front-facing view of our snowman. We have a view from the top. And now we have another spot that you can choose. You could do a view from the bottom looking up. Let's try that. I'm going to do it really big, like you're really close up looking up at him. So that's his big belly at the bottom. Let's move my camera so you can see it better. There's the big belly. And then we have a little belly on top of that. And then the head. Maybe the head is kind of poking out from the side. Back in. And I can show you a picture so you can kind of pick this one. If you're looking up at the snowman, his nose would probably be pointing up as well. This guy's nose pointing up. So at this point, now that we kind of know what 4 perspectives we have our snowman in, you can add lines for the ground so we know that our snowman's not floating, but this part's optional. If you don't want your snowman to have ground, you don't have to. This whole thing will be the ground on this one, and then this one will all be sky. So you can add the ground if you want to, and then let's add our eyes so you can kind of see your snowman start to come together. So a snowman usually has 2 eyes made out of coal or rock. Your snowman might have a smile made out of more rocks. Your snowman might have a top hat. And when I'm drawing, you'll notice that sometimes I just draw through things and then I can go back and erase them. There's lots of things your snowman could have. You could have a stick or an arm. That stick has a branch on it. I'm making the lines kind of wobbly so it looks more like a real stick. A wobbly stick for arms. And this one I might have a smile that you can see half of because it's a profile. You could also start to add some scarves. Your scarf has some fringe on it. And maybe some stripes or another pattern. This one scarf might be a little bit bigger because it's a little closer up. Maybe the scarf comes down like that. I made this scarf kind of curved, like it's on the curve of the snowball. Down here we could have maybe just a little bit of the eye showing, and then maybe a little bit of a scarf showing too. And that would be probably just about it. And then, and its arms. So you'll have the little eyes and the mouth. And if you wanted a hat, you could add a hat. I don't think I want a hat on all of mine, but you might be able to see a little bit of that scarf coming down the belly. Maybe it's got some stripes on it. Alright, now let's use some of our techniques that we've learned in the past. For example, let's add some value. So, I don't know if you have seen snow with shadows on it, but usually snow that has shadows on it has like blue shadow. So I'm gonna add blue shadow to the bottom where it's touching the ground. It's called a contact shadow. You can even use dark blue or purple if you have dark blue or purple. Use a little bit of both if you want to. I'm also going to add a little bit of shading around the edges of my snowman. And then have it go kind of dark around the edge and then get lighter. Dark around the edge, gets a little lighter. Same at the bottom, a little lighter around the towards the middle. Then we have the contact shadow where this big ball of snow is touching the other big ball of snow, so that will be a little bit darker here. Maybe we want to be fancy and add a little bit of darker blue to outline it a little bit more. Same thing for the middle section, we'll just kind of fade the sides. Fade the sides. Maybe adding a little bit of that dark blue around the edge. So it's really dark on one side and then lighter as it goes towards the middle. And then lastly, we can do that on the head. So darker where it's touching and on the sides. And we want to make sure we leave most of it white because the snow is white. You can also do that on the snow that might be on the ground if you have a ground line. You don't have to have a ground line if you just want to make a background the color that you want to make it. But you could have some shading on your ground. You can go back and color the rest of that in there. Let's do the same thing on these other snowmen. Dark, 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 dark. So the ones at the bottom will just kind of have a dark edge around them. And you won't be able to see too much of the other shading, so I'm just going to make kind of a dark edge around. Maybe a little bit of shading, and that would be it. Unfortunately, you can't really blend colored pencil with your finger. And I can go around some of these things with my purple or my dark blue, if I have a darker blue. I'm going to do that on this one. And on the edges a little bit darker with my darker purple or blue. So purple is a darker color than blue is, so that's why you could use purple if you don't have a darker blue. Okay, now we just have one more snowman to add some shading to. I can even add a little bit of shading down at the bottom of my paper. Just a little bit, and that makes it more interesting. Alright, obviously I want you to add some color to the rest of your details. So you would maybe add some orange to your carrots. You could add shading to those as well by making part of it dark, part of it light, so like the edges might be dark, and then you might color them lightly. You might add other things like, I don't think I have a black, oh I do have a black colored pencil. You might add like more buttons. And when you're looking at a snowman up like this, the buttons that are near the bottom will be bigger than the buttons that are farther away near the top. We learned that when we learned about perspective. And here's where I want you guys to be inspired by Andy Warhol. So Andy Warhol used lots of bright colors. Right now we just have the colors of our snowmen, but we have backgrounds on each of the snowmen that we can change and make unique. So maybe I'm going to switch over to some markers for this one, and I might pick different colors for each one. So I know that the sky is usually blue, but we already have blue on our snow. So let's make it more interesting by making the background maybe a little bit more abstract. We can kind of go around the edge. A lot of pop artists use polka dots with a lot of their art, so you could even add polka dots in the sky, because you know what? You can do things like that. It's your artwork. So I'm gonna color in all these sections, maybe a different color. Let's see. I'm inspired by Christmas. I might make another one. Maybe the one at the bottom. I'll do the background. Kind of going around the edges of the background. And then I can fill that in with my marker or with my colored pencil. I can't decide. I might use colored pencil to fill it in. For this guy, this is all snow around him, so really the whole thing is background. So maybe I'll make everything around this guy yellow. Yellow would be a good color. But you could pick any color you want for your backgrounds. This is the fun part, in my opinion. It starts to make the artwork come to life a little bit more. Go around your snowman. It's a little bit easier to color in when you do that. And it makes your snowman pop out a little bit more. Might need to go back and do that with my red. And this is spot down here too. And then I can pick one more color for the last one. Think about it while I do this. Think of it as like a snowman photo shoot. So this last one, I think I'll do, I guess I'll do, no, I don't want to do orange. I'm going to pick a funky color. I think I have a light purple. Maybe it's a light purple. So this funky light purple marker. So for this one, I would just do, if I want to have some of it be the ground, I would just do the top, my color. And what's interesting is these two colors are opposites, and then these two colors are opposites, so that kind of makes it more interesting too. Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to finish coloring this in. I'm going to color in my backgrounds, I'm going to color in my scarves and my hats and my eyes. I can add other things to make it more unique, and then this work of pop art is finished. So when you're ready, show off what you created and we will meet. If we're not done today, we can work on this a little bit tomorrow. I hope you guys had fun learning to draw a snowman from different perspectives, and I can't wait to see what you created.